Cuomo Crime Time. You can subscribe right on YouTube, free. Why? We got to get into the true crime space. It's the last place we can talk about what matters in society without it being about right versus left. Lindsay Clancy is a tough one. Look, not for me, but it's tough for everybody else, including what's happening at trial. She definitely killed her 3 kids, okay? She's admitted to it. She then jumped out the window trying to kill herself. The question is she criminally responsible, or does the illness change that analysis? Today, the prosecution called to the stand the ER doctors and psychiatrists. This was not a good day for the defense. They treated her right after she paralyzed herself jumping out the window after killing her kids. Also on the stand today was the officer who found the diaries Lindsay Clancy had been keeping in the days and weeks prior to the murders. Here's some of what was read by both sides.
Completely overwhelmed, trying to take care of the 3 kids. I feel like I'm drowning every day. Again, another page that's not dated.
Correct.
November 18th, that page reads, "It's like I'm so desperate to get a mental break from taking care of everyone that my mind is trying to make something physically wrong with me.
I now have horrible insomnia and anxiety, which is causing depression. I have no appetite. I don't know what's wrong with me. I want help. I want to be well." You saw that in there, didn't you?
Yes.
I have crazy brain fog. I feel like I can't make a plan. I can't carry it out. Like I just live moment to moment, waiting for the next nap time. I'm terrified of Cal getting overtired now because I feel I can't help him. She wrote that, right?
Now, people are drawn to the diary. Not me. I'm drawn to what the clinician said. Let's bring in trial attorney Mark Eiglarsh and jury consultant Susan Constantine. It's good to have you both. One step sideways. Susan, you were trained by the person who put together the Andrea Yates jury.
Correct.
And that gives you great insight into what they are thinking about. My read on what's happening in there is that these people are overwhelmed by how terrible this was. And they just heard what I'll talk to Mark and you about, which is other clinicians saying she didn't seem like someone who had no idea why she had done what she had done.
Well, correct. And the other thing is what we want to look at is, even though the Andrea Yates case is so similar, is that what we're dealing with is these competing thoughts, right? That is she mentally ill? Was she calculated? You know, they're trying to decipher between those two kind of evils. And so what we're looking at is the disgust and the contempt and the horror that those jurors are feeling. So what I want to make a point of is that these jurors, from my understanding, have had such disgust towards Lindsay Clancy through this entire thing that is an emotion you cannot undo. It is built so deep that it's going to take an enormous amount of the defense to work through that, to sort of normalize that disgust, because that's huge. You can't get rid of it. And that they have to be able to live with their feelings after deliberations and their decision to either acquit or convict.
Do you have to put her on the stand, Mark?
Heck no. No. I rarely put clients on this stand, and you don't need to. She spoke through her diary. She spoke to all the psychiatric healthcare administrators that she reached out to for help. You definitely don't. And I don't see today as bad as you do. And I did watch all the testimony because I'm fascinated with this case, in spite of having my own caseload. For every one step forward the state took, it looked like the defense took that step back. The case hasn't begun yet. This comes down to the experts to explain to these people how a person who's acting seemingly normal, Mother of the Year, she was everything you want a mother to be, can do the most abhorrent thing. And I absolutely agree with Susan. They start off with this feeling in their stomach that what you did was abhorrent. We are mad at you. We are angry with you. We shouldn't have to be here listening to this. But why did she do it? She's a secret psychopath who just waited for the moment for her husband to go for a few minutes to go to CVS and get up some food for the family. It doesn't add up. And who has the burden? The state does, to prove that she was criminally responsible.
The state does, but remember, a big part of that burden is relieved because we know exactly who did it, and they admit it. So it really just comes down to what that formulation of the intent was and motive, even though that's not part of the criminal analysis. It will be part of the judgment analysis for the juror. Here's what I'm worried about, and here's why I brought up the idea that maybe only Lindsay can save herself here. And I get why you wouldn't want to do that, but listen to what one of the clinicians said today.
When you asked her certain questions, was she able to answer those questions by writing the answers on the paper?
She was.
Okay. And did you ask her about her mood that day?
I did ask her mood.
And what did she write?
She wrote horrified. We asked her, do you have questions for us? And she asked, is my body broken? Are my legs straight? And she then asked about, can she have visitors? And, where her family is.
Did you notice any internal or external signs of psychosis?
At the time, I documented that I did not note those.
Now, by the way, documenting that you did not notice signs of psychosis is a very deliberate act, meaning that you knew that that could be a reasonable expectation here, and you wanted people to know you didn't see it. And I got to tell you, I was just saying to Dusty, not the most impressive part of the testimony, Susan, because there was another clinician who was like, no, she knew what she did. She wasn't freaking out about it. She asked to switch her medical proxy from her husband to her parents. Nonchalant, but not like, she was dead staring, the things that you usually identify with a psychotic break. I think it was about as bad for the defense as it could be.
Yeah, it really sounds like it is. And I think, like what Mark was saying, it's really going to be a battle of the experts, right? What are the experts stating? What are they testifying to? And I think this was really a telling expert was saying that she didn't note any psychosis, okay? So I think that there was some sort of dissociative, something occurred, and something that struck me was when she says, are my legs even straight? I'm thinking, okay, like, who says something like that? Unless she was somehow feeling disassociated with her body in some sort of alternate reality kind of state. So I do think that there was something, and you have to really think about all the medication she was on, right? I mean, the medications are going to cause some sort of, psychological, have some psychological impact. But I think it's going to boil down to, when she was talking about, she had no connection with that baby, right? She was none. She did not have any motherly or maternal instincts associated with that child. So she was able to carry it out because it didn't have any value to her. She didn't have any emotions towards the child. And that's where it's going to be, okay, 3 different things wrapped around the kids' necks. She planned it. It happened within a short period of time. And I think that the jury is going to look at that, yeah, something doesn't seem right. And those little analytical jurors in there are going to be putting those pieces together and going, yeah, this doesn't smell right.
Yeah. Mark, give me a quick button. I got to go.
I will say that the woman you played earlier, while it looks like it hurt the defense, she spent 20 minutes with this woman, didn't know her history, and her history is extensive, and they can't ignore that. It's going to be significant.
There's no question. Look, I can't believe she's on trial, but we don't have a justice system. We've got a legal system when it comes to mental health. If you do the crime, we want to punish you. We don't really want to talk about why. Mark Eiglarsh, thank you very much. Madam Constantine, always a pleasure. Thank you very much for being with us. Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.